What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Zaku Talku podcast. I'm Jose, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Mark and Garcil, and today we're talking about the final portion of our viewing of the Double Zeta Gundam series. So, Garcil, since you love this series so much, lead us off.
That messes up my intro so much. All right. Yes. So yes, we've reached the end of a very divisive series, I would say. So we've already gone on length as to how much we didn't like it at the start and how it's been growing on us. But now that we've reached the end, what do you guys think? Like, is it worth it?
Trash. No, I wouldn't quite say trash. I'm just kidding. Mark, what would you say?
You were the one that more.
Well, I like the middle portion, and I stand by that. The middle portion is watchable, and it's actually pretty decent, but I feel like because of the way they laid out the beginning, specifically with introducing characters like Mashmeyer, Karasun, and Glemmy as antagonists, they had to find a way to wrap it up, and by bringing all those characters back, and by doing so, it created a very fast-paced and just overall unenjoyable experience at the end. I feel like specifically how it felt like they just brought in characters like Mashmeyer, just to conclude their whatever, just to show that they remembered them, kind of like, oh, remember this guy? Yeah, he's back. Here's what happened to him. But they didn't really flush them out or anything. So, I mean, honestly, they probably could have just left them in the back. Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel. I think the story was going in a good direction until they started to bring those characters back, and it wasted some much needed episodes that could have been used to develop characters like Haman and Glemmy, who they establish as the two main antagonists, but instead use them to show what's happening with Kara and Mashmeyer.
Jose, what about you?
I definitely have mixed feelings about this series. The beginning sucked, and it didn't get good until episode 20. That's already more than a third of the series. Like the whole 47 episodes, that's more than a third of that. And that's way too long to establish things and really kind of pique anybody's interest. The good thing is like Mark said, that middle portion was actually pretty enjoyable. The third portion, this whole portion that we just watched, I thought that the comedy was actually kind of just starting to it's not as funny as the middle portion, but it becomes established, and you kind of at least for me personally, I felt like I kind of started letting it just kind of work its way to me, and I just enjoyed it for what it was. It had been long enough away from us having watched the other series and the beginning of the series and our previous expectations of it, that I just kind of settled into the slapstick aspects of the series. So I did find things funny. I did find some enjoyment out of it, but it's definitely not I would not call it a top tier series. It's not for the Gundam, not for the Gundam series, not for anything really in general. It has its moments, but the way that it wraps up is pretty, I kind of want to say a little bit sloppy, but it has some good aspects to it. I did like the lightheartedness as opposed to, the others, but we'll dive more into those as we go on.
Right. So I think I mentioned back in the first part that I would have dropped this series by episode 3, and I will stand by that and say this show is just not worth it. It takes too long to get good, and even when it gets good, yeah, the character you do start to enjoy the character. You still you like the stuff, but everything you have to sit through to get to that part just it's not there. Just watch all of Zeta and put on the third compilation movie, the new translation, and just sit with that ending. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, the payoff it was really lacking. Everything that you sit through, like you were saying, the payoff was just really weak.
So the only issue I have with that statement is that there are characters in this story that are exclusive to this, or not exclusive to this story, but are only in this story that are then in future stories. There are characters in this story that are also in Gundam Unicorn, but are not in any other series. So to understand where those characters are coming from, you would have had to have watched this show, which is, is it worth it? I don't know. I would say watch probably a couple episodes from the first 10 skip to 20 and then kind of go. But
I mean, if we're gonna do that, then yes, just skip everything from the start and just start at 20 and you're good. Just read
Yeah.
a bit on judo and you're good. Let's do that.
yeah, that will give you what you need to kind of stick with the continuity and know who certain characters are without actually having to suffer through the beginning of the show, because it was horrible.
It's very slow, and also just transitioning from from Zeta to this one and MSG and whatnot. It just felt like really different. So it's especially worse if you come off of watching the previous series, and go into this one. It's definitely off-putting. So, watch this one when you're kind of just feeling like having it on in the background or something, and just like listen to every
Well, I mean,
now
it's
and
not
then, like
dubbed.
bits and pieces.
It's not dubbed, so unless you understand Japanese, you can't really have it in the background.
Oh yeah, so I guess you're fucked. You have to watch it. Oh well. Unless you understand Japanese, then good for you. Then you don't have to sit through most of that shit. But speaking of which, somebody gets called a dick in these bunches of episodes. I thought that was new. Random. Sorry. Move on.
Okay. So, we're not so keen on the series by the end of it. I do got to say that I did start enjoying the characters a lot more, especially Judo. So now that we've
Yes.
reached the end of his arc, what do you guys think about it compared to Amuro and Camille?
Like likability, power.
Yeah, let's just
What
go
do you
with
what do you likability wise? I don't know. I like Judo. I would say overall, I probably liked him as a character more than Amuro or Camille. However, I I enjoyed Amuro and Camille's story much more. So as a character, like personality, who would I want to hang out with? Judo. But who would I rather see grow and develop? Amuro or Camille?
Will they?
I like Judo, or Judao. I like him enough. Like, I think he's definitely a solid character in terms of likability, but I don't feel like he really progressed or changed drastically throughout the course of the series. Like, he's still kind of the same character from beginning to end. He just kind of goes through a few hardships and whatnot, and he gets motivation to do certain things, but he never really changes who he is or how he comes across or mannerisms. Nothing in terms of his character really changes. I can't really think of anything hard to like point at. So I think that the journey of the character growth and development is a lot more appreciated with characters like Amuro and Camille. But, Judah is, like Mark said, he's like the kind of character that you'd be down to chill with. And so I do think he has good likability. But in terms of just overall appreciation of the character, I still rank him below those two, the first two.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. So Lena's death, air quotes on death, people, was a bit of a driving force for Judo near the midway part of the series. But later on, we discovered that she's still alive. So what did you guys think about this revelation? And what do you think about the Sayla cameo?
So, like I said in the last part, I was fairly certain she was alive just by a small dialogue portion that I heard between Glemmy and Haman. But that now I have to question that because she was with Sayla, not with Glemmy or Haman. So I don't know how they knew she was alive. But
Psychic type powers. Remember that.
yeah, but Judo has that, and he just randomly knows that she's alive in this part. Like, it's not explained. He's just like, and all the crewmates think that he's crazy, which is they're like he's talking to like Lena, and just let him do it. Just let him do it. He's crazy. So that was kind of interesting, but I feel like he shouldn't have found out until the end that she was actually alive, or even had any inkling that she was.
Oh, then by that, yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of just ruined that whole like.
I feel he had hope that she was alive and was just thinking like that to help motivate him. I feel like deep down he probably knew she was dead, or thought she was dead until she shows up.
Yeah. But I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to it too much this arc because I don't know. It just really wasn't a major point. It just kind of was used to make the other characters think that he was crazy and talking to like ghosts. But
it didn't have two grips on your mind.
No. Sayla cameo it's just nice to see older characters like we said in the past. Like any character that we see again is like pretty cool. So seeing Sayla again was just that. She didn't do much of anything, so we don't really have anything to go off of. She does mention Char though, which was
Yeah.
interesting.
I wanted to bring that up. They totally do not believe that he's dead. Like they
No.
he's probably out there watching, which he is, which we'll find out in 3 years what he's planning.
Yeah, so and that was that little bit of dialogue she had was pretty cool, but other than that, she didn't really do much of anything at all. So I can't really have an opinion on her other than, oh, it's cool to see a new character or an old character returning.
In fairness, this cameo was also a lot better than her cameo in Zeta, where we just saw her.
Yeah.
She talked in this one.
I just thought it was neato burrito, if you will. It wasn't anything that like had me, jumping off my seat
Neato burrito.
and be like, it wasn't anything like, oh, but I don't know. I guess I've just never really loved her character. Not that I dislike her or anything like that, but she's just never captured me in such a way. So. But it was neato burrito to see her.
My God, do not say that ever again.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hater.
Right, so within these last few episodes, we got to see some of the characters start to stand out more. It was not just the judo party; they were finally coming together as the Gundam team. Eno deserved better, but
Yeah.
What were your guys' thoughts on the extras on our Gundam team? I personally liked Mondo's growth.
Yeah, I think Mondo's the only one I actually liked.
Yeah. Again, I think I said it earlier that if I had to pick between two characters between Bicha and Mondo, did I say I'd take Bicha over Mondo?
No, you
I feel like
Mondo.
I did. Okay then. I guess I'm gonna remain consistent. Yeah, no, fuck Bicha. What a beach. Mondo is cool, and he actually handles his stuff, and he comes off as respectable. And he's out there vying for this chick, Rasada, I think her name was, or something like that. But
Sarah, yeah, the Moon lady.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the Moon call comes back.
Yeah. Well, I want to touch on that later, but I just I thought that he definitely stepped it up when it came to a lot of things, and he came off a lot more loyal to the cause, and just overall a good addition to the team. He felt really responsible and just a lot more likable. Whereas I can't really say the same about Bicha, because he's just kind of he's got his head up his ass. He's yelling, "I'm a captain." He's like that dude in the Tom Hanks movie. He's like, "I'm captain now." He's reminding everybody every fucking second that he can, and then he tries to basically start causing mutinies and doing whatever he wants, but everybody's got to keep him in his place. He's kind of like Luffy in One Piece, He just does whatever the hell he wants and is irresponsible. But at the same time, he gets lucky and makes a few good calls. But overall, you still don't really like him. At least I didn't. So Mondo is the standout. Plus, he just goes out there and gets it done, man. So big props to Mondo.
Yeah, I kind of have the same opinion. I was expecting Bicha to maintain his growth and continue it, but for some reason, Captain Bright's bright idea to put him in charge.
Not very bright.
Yeah, to put him in charge of the Nail Argoa.
I kind of feel Bicha kind of just took command.
No, Bright says if you want to be
gonna have Emily take command.
Emily,
yeah. No, when you're thinking back, he does have that line with Bicha about if he wants to take command, he needs to be able.
Yeah. But
he's
I think
trying to jump out. He's trying to jump in a mobile suit every second that he can.
Yeah, I think it was the writers trying to give him something to do because he sucks in a mobile suit. And he sucks in every other aspect, so they're like, oh, let's put him as captain. Oh, wait, he sucks at that too. So he has zero growth. He ends up still being dumb and childish and probably the worst character in the entire show. So,
but he does get a girlfriend.
It's hinted at, but it's never confirmed.
I'm pretty sure they're together.
No, don't do this. I like her character. She deserves better than that rat.
So L decides to settle for Bicha.
God,
what do you guys
think? What a wait! I think I just told you.
Well, it was kind of so. One of the weird things about this show is that it leaves the relationships ambiguous to a point where the ending is really awkward because of that. But I think if anything, the Bicha and L relationship is the only one that's kind of hinted at throughout the entire series. She's always defending him, always saying that he wants to do the right thing and stuff. So I feel like her ending up with him was
Feels natural.
it's the only natural relationship.
Yeah.
Close and natural as you can get in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can definitely agree with that. I still just think Beaches sucks, and I like Elle. So
Yeah.
I think her conversations with Rue are always funny and always bring out interesting character interactions or something to just keep it lively. So I appreciated her character, whereas Beaches just was there to just fucking ruin things all the time and be annoying.
And as I mentioned earlier, I feel Eno should have had more to do.
Yeah.
Best Boy deserved more time. Like damn.
Absolutely. He felt like the Yamcha of the series.
Eno
which is
should have
very-
been commander, captain instead of.
I know.
Exactly.
Definitely should have. But I feel like he doesn't have the backbone to be a commander.
Yeah, but this would have been the perfect time for him to develop that backbone.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, Beecha.
That turd.
Right. So, Mark, as you mentioned earlier, with the returning of Mashmeyer and Chara, we do get reintroduced to these guys in a more edgy sense. So, main question, Jose, would you let Chara whip you?
That's literally what I was thinking when I saw her take out that whip, dude. I was like,
Oh my god.
And I was thinking in detail. I was like, how many times would I allow this? Probably 30 to 50 lashes. And
God.
And on that note, Arpezzo, what do you think of Chara's redesign and her reintroduction?
Kara.
Chara.
Yeah, Kara-sama. What do I think of it? Well, god damn. That's what I think of it. Looks good. You know,
I think he
I'm
has
a man
two
of-
prominent reasons to enjoy that costume.
Very much so.
Very big prominent.
Look,
reason on
Look,
film.
I'm a man of fan service. I appreciate fan service. I live for fan service. I endorse fan service. Fan service is good, and this fan service was good.
Was very good.
Yes, yeah. Like she's like definitely in the running for top tier chicks to me in terms of Gundam. She's a
Her
wild one, I'll
voice
tell you that.
Is like a cheese grater though.
I kind of like it. It's like I know what you mean, but in that it's like kind of
It's
how would you put
raspy.
it? Kind of raspy, and I don't know, something about it. I just it's I like it. It has an appeal to it, a certain appeal, and I ain't gonna complain about it. So Kara-sama, yes, I would very much enjoy being her subordinate.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Mark, give me a less horn dog version of that.
So Kara's reintroduction into the series is like I said, I feel like it's just we had this character, we had to do something with them because they were kind of prominent in the first part of this, and if we don't bring them back, people are going to wonder where they went. And so by bringing her, I mean, out of her and Mashimara, her development and story was a lot more interesting to me, especially during this part, because we see that, she's a new type and has the ability to control funnels, and she's probably more than likely a cyber new type because she's dealing with, she's
emotional instability.
Yeah. And Judo's voice is like doing the same thing that Camille's voice was doing before, where it like kind of flipped the switch for a second. So that aspect of her character was interesting. It's never explained, as far as I'm aware, but
when is anything ever explained?
but it's kind of nice to as we watch these series to be able to pick up those little details and be like, she's probably a new type because
He's crazy.
Because these reasons. And so that was interesting.
I said that during the first part.
It was funny how Judo, he was trying to like convince her to come back, and he was bribing her with doing all of their laundry again.
I know. Remember, you like doing laundry. She's like, what? No, I didn't.
Honest props to Judo right there. He's he's reaching, but he's throwing it out there. So ballsy of him.
But he gets smushed in her chest like multiple times during this.
That bastard.
One of the wishes he was in.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to beat Judo more.
So can I get a quick explanation as to, wasn't Kara, what were we calling her?
Yeah.
Kara.
Wasn't she in a moon prison or something?
No, she was in when they left the moon, she stayed behind because she was going to meet up with what's that character's called? I forgot his name. The officer, the Xeon officer. What was his name?
The brown one. the rocket, whatever.
It was the one who died on the moon, whatever his name was. I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
She was going to meet up with him, but she got stopped, and so she got left on the moon. That was the last time we saw her.
I remember them mentioning something about her going to a prison. So like, all right.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
I guess I skipped over that part.
On the real though, like you're right that her character was. It just like the way that she was reintroduced was kind of clunky and random, and it just felt unnecessary to a certain extent. Although I did enjoy her while she was there, and every moment that like Judo would talk to her or like interact with her, save her or anything, like it would spark something like oh Judo, and I'm a how should I put it? She gravitates towards him because she has a certain level of fondness for him. So that would always bring up something interesting, and then it doesn't lead anywhere at all, like to any more interaction, because he saves her and he jets, and she just goes back to doing what she was doing. She's almost gonna die, and then he saves her again, and then he jets, and it's just the same shit over and over again. So it never really explores anything else, and she's just kind of there just to be there. So
you're gonna talk about Mashmire now?
Yes,
Let's
Mark. I see how happy you are to talk about Mashmire. So go ahead, lead us in.
Finally.
I know you love him, Mark.
So Mashmire was the absolute worst villain of any of these series. Worst villain of all time. He was so horrible and so dumb that they actually had to state that he went through a training to make him less stupid in the series. Yeah, they were like, how do we reintroduce Mashmire without him being a total dolt? Oh, he's a cyber new type now. Yeah, that's it. That works. And then now he's not dumb anymore. Now he's like, well, and actually, no, he is still dumb because he still has the worst death in the whole series as well. Because he self-destructs and doesn't kill anybody with him. He just dies. He just blows himself up for no reason.
Final explosion.
He's... Oh my gosh. I
could think of somebody with a worse death than that.
No. My mouth...
Jared's worse.
No. Mashmire is worse than Jared.
You guys are forgetting someone. This one's so bad that you guys are forgetting it, and I'm going to bring it up. Keep going.
Don't say COTS. Please.
Nope, I'm not.
Oh, you're saying bad, not good.
Oh.
Not that I advocate children death.
Yeah, I said bad, not the best death in the series. Come on.
Do you mean the person that got shot by cats?
Nope.
Alright, then I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, we're talking about Mashmire here. And Mashmire is the worst character. My mouth was agape when I saw him do that and die and didn't take out Rakan.
Rakan.
And I was just sitting there like, why? Who wrote this and why did they do this to him? Like they brought him back and everyone's like, oh, Mashmire, I never knew he had this much power in him, and he just kills himself for no reason.
It was a big explosion, man. It was big.
He actually had a babysitter too this whole time, by the way. So yeah, he's just a horrible character, and he was not redeemed. He was made to look like even more of a fool. I despise him. And I will always despise him. I will never know why he is in video games like Maxi
Why
Boost
he's in Maxi
instead
Boost.
of Glemmy. I'll never know. So that's my take on Mashmire. Worst character in the show. Worst character in I would say he's worse than COTS. At least I would sometimes enjoy watching COTS. But every time Mashmire was on the screen, I just wanted him to go away. And when he did, he went away in the worst fashion ever. So it just was like a cherry on top of the pile of dung that is Mashmire.
Hey Jose, this is how you sounded when you were talking about COTS, for the record.
I like it. It's funny.
Jose, what do you think about Mashmire? Since you and I kind of enjoyed the character.
Honestly, I personally kind of liked him. I thought, like, he didn't really do much, but he came off as more competent this time, competent this time around, as far as like being more serious and more driven. Like before, he was just acting like a straight up clown and like just a total simp in like the simpiest form. He was like just down on his knees, licking Hamon's boots and just on the ground and praising wherever she stepped and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
Jose,
he's like,
but you would too.
Yeah, but this isn't about me, so.
Because you can relate to him with Mashmire doesn't mean he's a good character. I would just like to say that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because see, that's how I felt too. But that doesn't mean that I think that he was a really good character. I enjoyed him because I thought that he this time around, he came off more serious, more driven, more focused. And while you're right in that he kind of did have a babysitter, at the same time, he was making all of his own decisions for the most part and just kind of driving himself. Like, he knew what his goal was to further Haman's goals and all that shit. So that was basically his goal. While it's kind of a silly goal, hey, he had something going for him, and he had something driving him. And he just came off as more serious, and I enjoyed his character just because of how passionate he is and how he comes off. I thought it was silly, but kind of cute when Haman gave him another flower, like, here, simp, now do my bidding. And he's just like, oh, yes. And, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of sad when she was just like, well, I guess I'm down one more person. Like, my boy Maschemeyer, he just got disrespected, but hey, he still went out happy, doing what he believed in, so I can't really hate him for that. And he didn't ever come off as particularly unlikable to me, because I thought he was silly. And in the beginning, since the show as a whole came off as slapstick, I did find more humor from him than the other characters. So it helped me transition into this show a little bit better with, a little bit more ease, since he's the only one that made me laugh. And yeah, that's what I thought about Maschemeyer. He did go out like a chump, though, I will say.
Final Explosion does that too.
Yeah, it just sucks he didn't kill anybody. That's kind of dumb. And everybody was like,
I'd taken out one.
I didn't know he was this. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know he was this powerful. And I thought he was gonna live through that. That's when everybody was saying that. I thought
when he just vanished. I was like,
yeah,
what?
What? No, that was stupid. That was definitely dumb, and I feel like he got done dirty. Unfortunately, he didn't play any kind of heavy roles in terms of the story, so that's kind of a waste, especially for his very passionate and fiery character. But he was the enjoyable bits to me. But to be honest, a lot of Zeon was. I think I don't have much bad things to say about most of the Zeon characters. But anyway, I digress. That is my opinion on Maschemeyer. I don't think that he should be a character like in Maxi Boost.
All right, Garcelle, what do you think of the Trashemeyer?
Well, Jose covered most of what I would say. Aside, for me, he reminds me of James from Pokemon, and I like that about it. Or Jose covered most of the other things I would say. But I do want to bring up the fact that he was apparently responsible for the colony drop on Dublin. Which, yes, people, there was another colony drop.
Can we talk about this real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you guys to tell me how dropping a object the size of a entire city, I would say probably a United States city.
I would say a state, like a medium state.
No, it wasn't
potentially,
a state, was it?
I don't think it was a state. I think it was more so a city. But still, that's a large amount of mass. How did that only somewhat destroy a city on the planet's surface and also not hurt any of the people that we liked that were in the vicinity, like Judo, Camille?
Yeah, I thought that was stupid. I thought that was really lacking. That was not as epic as I was expecting it to be.
It was definitely not.
Yeah, or I don't even know if I should use the word epic, but just as it didn't feel like something that bore heavy consequence to the overall characters and all the world, I guess. It felt like something casual. It felt like maybe someplace getting hit by a tornado or a natural disaster.
Yeah, and it was still intact.
Yeah, it didn't come off as nearly as catastrophic as the other series made them out to be. So, that's kind of dropping the ball a little bit.
When going off of catastrophic, the last successful colony drop was before Mobile Suit Gundam, which destroyed the United States, right?
It destroyed a large portion, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, how are they going to get away? And then they don't get away, and I was like, what?
Well, kind of just
nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
Like, they're talking about, the colony's going to drop, and then at one point they just pan out, it's already right above Dublin.
Yeah. So
yeah, all they needed to do was just get on a boat and they were good, or just get onto another island or something and they were good. It was
it is just lackluster, I would say. Just is the right word to describe it.
Yeah, very accurate. I've dropped some harder colonies than that. Come on.
Oh my god.
On that note.
Okay.
On that note, let's talk about Glemmy. The perfect segue.
Yeah, he's a turd.
Glemmy's been hinting at betrayal for a while now. What do you guys think about this little rebellion our boy Glemmy put on?
It didn't make any sense.
It was random. That's how
It was just like popped in like the colony. Like what?
Yeah.
He's been planning this the whole time. However, he's been like an idiot for half the show. Like he was like licking Mashimire's boots at the beginning, but he somehow had this secret like cloning facility where he also creates cyber new types, and he also is amassing a large army against Haman while also being stranded in the desert fighting for blue team and losing.
That's what I mean by it was random. It just came out of nowhere. Like everything, all of his assets for that literally just popped out of his ass. It just happens. Like everything that you just pointed out, it's valid. Like, where the hell did this come from? Where did that come from? You know, if he was like a grunt before, where would he have gotten the resources for all this other stuff? Where would he storing it?
Especially since we have Pudu come in the series relatively early, while Glemmy is still kind of like an idiot. And it's just odd. It's also odd how apparently Haman didn't see any of this coming, even though in some scenes it seems like she does know. But then when it happened, she's like, "Oh, what? I didn't know."
Oh, the part where she got surprised by Glemmy's rebellion was because there was like some type of barrier interfering with her new type psychic abilities. At least that's what I read in the sub. So
it just didn't make sense to me. The whole thing was just really weird and odd.
I mean, the barrier thing doesn't get explained either.
So
he's like a lord or noble or something, isn't he?
He is a low-ranking noble.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that gives you like the resources for that crap, but it doesn't really seem to make sense.
Well, you'd be surprised about royalty, but this does mean he's somehow related to the zombies.
Yeah, I was reading up on just doing a little side research, and apparently there's I don't know if it's just from that one line that you were just describing last time about Glemmy having the blood of the zombies or something, but there's like theories that he might be the son of one of them, like Giran maybe. So that's weird. Maybe that's how he got his resources.
Like Karma got some, and maybe that's his kid. No, he's too
young.
No, he didn't.
Too young.
He was loyal to someone, and he died before he even got to hit.
Yeah, Glemmy's
so I don't know.
Be any of their kids.
Giran looked pretty old. Yeah. Maybe it was him.
No, but I mean, Glemmy's too young. If Amuro's in his how old do you think Glemmy is? I wouldn't put him past.
Probably like 20, maybe max.
Then I guess maybe.
Well, I mean, Minerva's there, and he's older than her.
Oh yeah, I guess. It's been a long time since the 1 year war, I guess.
Yeah, but Glemmy, he went out like a turd as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was okay the way he went out. Like he didn't go out epically, but he went out in terms of a way that he would want to go out or that he accepted. So I didn't hate him, and he never came off as like a hateable character to me. So Rue had to shoot him in the heart.
I also like that Rue just brings up that she'll always remember that he loved her.
Yeah, I was like, and you'll always remember this. Oh, you won't.
So it's kind of not sounding like it, but I just want to bring it up. Was there ever any point that you guys actually thought Glemmy might be the last boss?
Yes.
Really?
I honestly I wasn't like full on board with he's definitely going to be the last boss or end game or anything. I kind of just felt like maybe he could be, but then things were really shifting in terms of the tides. Like things were going out of his favor left and right at a point, and it just seemed like there's no way that he can come back from this. So I was like, yeah, he's definitely going down. Things are still going fairly smoothly, or Haman at least still has resources at this point, so he's definitely not going to be end game. So, but he was coming off like he knew what he wanted to do, and he just kind of, how should I describe him? He came off as one of those kinds of characters that's just like, oh, all going according to plan, and we can do this, and this is going good, even though shit's falling around him and it's going bad. But it got to a point where it's like, this is irredeemable. There's no way he can win. He's definitely not the final boss.
Well, I mean, if he was the final boss, he'd probably be in Maxi Boost.
Yeah, definitely true. I still think that he deserves to be in Maxi Boost compared to Mashimire. But then again, no, yeah, he does. Mashimire didn't do anything.
He didn't do
He just died.
anything.
He just died.
All right, so when I was doing a little scan through of the Char Wikipedia, I read up that Glemmy is supposed to be a Char clone. Mark, do you mind
No.
telling us what a Char clone is first before you
Oh.
say?
Oh, I thought you meant a Char, like an actual like canon clone of Char
no.
Aznable.
Oh, that's a different
Okay, no, a Char clone. Okay, so in every series going forward, I think aside from G Gundam, there is a character who resembles Char, blonde hair, and wearing a mask, and is usually the rival character. And they're not as good as Char, almost ever, and they're just, huh?
But they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like intimidating and cool like Char, but I don't think any of them ever come off as that. And I would say Glemmy is not, because Glemmy is a little groveling weakling who is not intimidating at all. And I think like most of the characters in the show exude that, like, oh, Glemmy, get him out of here. Guy's trash. They don't care about
Really?
him.
He's supposed to be the Char clone?
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
It was a wiki page, but
Okay. Yeah, he does not come off it.
Be the first Char clone.
Like, I did not get those vibes from him whatsoever.
I mean, I started getting it by the end because of his ambition, but no, I at no point would he ever really be a Char clone.
No, Char clones are usually like, they have one objective on their mind. It's really hard to divert from that. I'm thinking of characters like Full Frontal,
Yeah,
Mr. Bushido,
Mr. Bushido, that dude from Wing that literally looks like Char,
McGillis, Farid. Those characters, they have their whole, like, everything's planned out perfectly, and Glemmy does not come across as that at all. He falls for dumb plans that involve Rue. He never really wins any battles, and I don't know, he just seems pretty weak overall. So unless this like first instance of a Char clone is not really like fully thought through, and this was kind of their, oh, we need to throw a character in there that's like Char, and let's throw this guy in there who's not Char at all.
He was blonde though.
So he beat that nude artist in that place. The dude that was trying to draw Rue in the desert.
That guy's a Char clone, dude. He's blonde.
Yeah. Say he's actually voiced by Char's voice actor, but I can't confirm.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to disagree on that. On Glemmy being a Char clone.
Well, let's go on to the actual final boss, Haman. So Haman has been an intimidating force since we met her back in Zeta. Fan favorite. Nothing I would really change about her. What did you guys think about her ending, though? I was not
like the rest of the series and the rest of the deaths. It was pretty trash. When you look at this series as a whole and you realize that most of the Gundam series are 50 episodes and this one is 47, meaning that there could have been 3 extra episodes in there to flesh out some of these conflicts, characters, and final battles, and they didn't do it, and they shoved a major battle, like an entire battle sequence that should have probably taken two episodes to do, into half of an episode. This is what you get. You get trash. And that's what happened, because Haman's death was garbage. It was really fast, weak battle, and I just wasn't impressed by it at all. I kept like tapping the screen on what I was watching this on to see the time limit left. I'm like, how are they going to do this in that amount of time? But they did, and it sucked. To me personally, I didn't. And the worst thing is that Judo didn't even do it. Camille took out Haman.
Ghost, new types.
Camille saved Judo.
Is confirmed to be the strongest.
By this, yeah, Camille's definitely like he's OP. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Without even being there.
Oh, I don't know. What did you guys think of the final battle? Because I really didn't like it.
I'm gonna be real. I zoned out a bunch of times. There was one point where the full armor Zeta comes in. Then I don't remember anything. Next thing I know, it's not the full armor anymore. And then the next thing that I know, Haman is crashing into an asteroid. And like, God, it was boring. I didn't like it. She deserved better.
Yeah, I was waiting. Now that you mentioned the full armor, I was waiting for that giant cannon that he's carrying and some of the artwork I've seen of it. Nope. It's like some missile pod expansions and a coating on it that makes it reflect gun or blaster. So I was pretty unimpressed by the full armor.
Okay, so quick confirmation. That definitely was the armor, right? Because like there's a portion during their battle in which Camille is like flying around. I mean, damn, I'm trying to remember like Best Boy.
We all know.
I mean Judo.
We all want Camille, but we
Yeah, I know.
Judo.
Okay, we're Judo throw, where he is like flying around and Haman blasts him and he takes no damage and it just like reflects. That is the armor, right? It wasn't like any new type powers of his, right?
I think when he gets to the point of fighting Haman, it might have been the new type abilities.
What? I thought was his name Astronaut? The engineer gave him like some special armor coating that reflects.
Yeah, well, he said it could only take like 5 hits though, and I think he used it against.
He can't handle 3 second a full barrage.
Oh,
3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it wears off, and I think he already had worn it off when he was fighting Rakan, because he charges Rakan and then Rakan shooting him, and it just reflects off. And he's like, "What is this? What kind of coating is this?" And then he gets up in his face. But when he's fighting Haman, that should have worn off by then, and I think he has an aura when he's fighting Haman too. So.
That it did have the aura, but at the same time, it did have the same animation and the same effect that it showed when it the earlier confrontation that you mentioned with Rakan. It had the same visual effect, so that's why I was kind of confused about it. I was like, is it his new type power or is it the actual armor?
Pretty sure that one was the new type when he was fighting Haman, but I guess we won't know.
Yeah. Well, overall, I thought that last battle was kind of meh. Haman-sama definitely deserved better. I did enjoy her final words. I found them to be somewhat honorable in terms of her character. Like, she just kind of went like, you're a good kid and all this stuff, and just kind of like seppuku'd in a way. And while it was like it was kind of anticlimactic, I still kind of respected it. But I'm a Haman sim, so I don't know. I don't want to say that that's like 100% valid for everybody, because it definitely isn't. But I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't really like it. But the battle overall, the choreography of it was pretty lacking considering this series. I thought the choreography and most of the combat for this series was actually pretty good and pretty standout compared to the first two. But this final confrontation was meh. The only thing I remember is that they jumped out of their mobile suits at a point, and Haman was like following him and trying to shoot him. And then they eventually went back to their mobile suits, and it just like went to the end there. Nothing really memorable.
Oh, they should have done what Char and Amuro did.
Yeah, see, that was at least like the epic end to their confrontation. This was just like, oh, let's get out, skirmish real quick, and then scurry back to the mobile suits for a more uneventful combat.
And this, boys, was the first instance of Talk no Jutsu being used.
You bastard. Right. I was about to say that. But you know what? I just didn't.
I even wrote that in my notes. Judo used All right, but you brought it up. Lead us in. How did Judo use Talk no Jutsu?
Well, I think Jose brought up the point where he just gumps out of his mobile suit in the middle of a battle for no reason and tries to talk down Haman, and she shoots him. So, I mean, it was kind of uneventful, but it was like messing with her mind when he was just describing what was going on. And
wasn't there also like some new type broadcasting where like everybody else was hearing it too?
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like Camille actually won that fight, but
yeah, Camille freaking won it. That's funny. I guess being a new type means you have no option for party chat because everybody can hear everything.
I mean, even Bright heard it. I thought it was just new types that were gonna hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Just overall, that whole sequence was uneventful. Well, I mean, it was eventful because it was the conclusion, but it didn't feel good enough to be the series finale.
True. Well, so we covered Haman's death. We brought up Mashmire's death. Let's go ahead and talk about death.
Yes.
So,
all hail death.
You brought it up. Who had the worst death in this series?
All right, hear me out. The Moon chick, the Rasera, or what? I'm pretty sure that's her name. But Mondo's chick, she had the worst and the dumbest death in the entirety of Gundam that I've seen so far. Because there are a few reasons. Okay.
Before you say that, I have no idea what happened.
Me
All right.
either. I
Well,
was actually gonna
I'm
say, did they like censor it or something?
no, I'm about to explain it. Okay, because that's actually the point. Nothing fucking happened to her. So this is what happened. They're getting attacked. Mondo is like trying to draw the guy that's attacking them in a mobile suit away, and he trips or something, and he's about to get stomped, and then the chick, she like dives for him, and she lands like right with her face like right next to his ass, and maybe it was Mondo shitting himself real badly or letting out a nasty wet fart that killed her and knocked her out or whatever, because there's literally nothing that happens. They're about to get stomped, and then the guy stops and he falls back, and I thought maybe because he like knocks down some rocks and some debris, maybe that's what hit her, or like caused her to be injured and made her die or something. And I rewinded it like 10 times to just try to really pay attention to it. I think it was like episode 41, I think. It was episode 41 at 8 minutes and 20 seconds is when it happens. And nothing happens to her. There's a rock that lands like right in front of her, but
Yeah, the big rock.
It's still like a good couple feet away from her. And then the next moment, I thought like, okay, he's fine. They're fine. They get away from this unscathed. It was a scare. And then they're getting up, and they just, you hear somebody say, "She's fucking dead." And I was like, what? How did she die? Nothing hit her. Nothing bad happened. Nothing injured her. And then she just looks all beat up all of a sudden. Like, I'm telling you, Mondo sharded himself in fear, and the stench killed her or something, because that's the only thing that's possible. Her face is, like, dirty for no reason. She didn't land in anything. Nothing hit her. Her face was, like, down on the ground. There's no logic to this scene. There's nothing that shows why she died. She died for literally no reason. They're giving her, like, this whole moment and all this stuff, which is funny, because she did not die, or she died for no reason, and she even got like a more of a memorial than frickin' Hayato. He got done dirty.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, Hayato, he got done way dirty. He's like, "Cuts, I hear you." And it was literally the same ball of fire of an explosion that Katz died in. And then everybody just forgets about his existence. I couldn't believe that they freaking just made Frau Bo into a single mom and a widow. But, that's going back to the original one that I was talking about. That chick died for no reason. That's even worse than freaking 4 in Zeta Gundam, who's, she just had her Psycho Gundam shot in the head, and she didn't even get injured. She just decided, oh, I died. For no reason. But this is worse because literally nothing happened. Like, for that one, maybe you could for 4, you could maybe be like, oh, the psycho waves like really hurt her and caused like a bunch of tension to her head and made her something, her react to that, and she died because it was too much for her. No, for this, jack shit happened, dude. The sister, yeah, her death was stupid.
So normally we would have some of our heroes die during the end of a series, but Gundam Team kind of went off without a scratch, aside from Puru, but not really missed. So what do you guys think about Gundam? Nobody from Gundam Team getting killed.
Didn't she die twice? Freaking Puru, she died twice, right? Puru 2 died. Puru 2 died, right?
Both.
Did she? I don't remember Puru 2 actually being shown to die.
They
she
freaking
collapsed.
said she died, and then they were like, "Oh, she died."
Yeah,
I thought that she was going to a hospital or something, and that she just collapsed, like you said. But then they were like, "Oh, she died." What the?
So, in regards to your question about Gundam Team and not dying, I really don't think that this series as a whole respected any of the character deaths, because as Jose brought up, Hayato, who's been with us for 2, and this would be the 3rd series, dies, and nothing, like, it was so brief and quick and uneventful and not brought up ever again, that none of that, like, it's
that most of us forgot about it.
Yeah, and same with, like, Puru dies, and Judo, who's been caring for this young girl for, over half the series, he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
So it's just really, I don't know. I don't think if any of the other characters died, it would be any different than what we've seen with the characters we already had die.
One thing I'll say is overall I was fine with characters like the main cast or the main Gundam Team not dying this time around, specifically because we've had them die for the past 2 series, or like we've had a lot of like members of them die. So it was like in a way kind of refreshing that they didn't die, and it didn't make it feel so tragic. So it was like a new feeling in terms of like, Gundam. But just for that novelty itself is the only reason why I could say that it was like, I appreciated that. But overall, I don't feel like it would have really changed anything because they gloss over like every death that happens in the series. In fact, the person that probably gets the most respect when they die is Emily.
Yeah. Oh, I should about to bring her up.
Yeah, she's like the only one. She's the only one that gets any respect when she dies. And I was
glad when
actually
she
kind of
went.
sad. I felt like that was the only way that she could go because
She's a
otherwise
homewrecker.
she'd be a homewrecker.
I
But I'm not
also
gonna lie, I still kind of liked her character because she was just kind of silly. But at the end of the day, she's a homewrecker, and yeah, nobody likes a homewrecker.
I kind of find it weird that Millie was so adamant about getting her last words to Bright. Like, dude, why?
He's married. Leave the brother alone. Not that he
Yeah,
cares.
especially
though.
when she didn't actually have to die. She just like committed suicide to try and like show Bright, oh, this is what you're missing, Bright. Now you'll never get some.
It wasn't even like that though. She thought she was going to live.
She was doing her captain duties and making sure.
She would have, but she was being
Yeah,
dumb.
and then she got cucked by Puru too, and she really did get cucked because Bright would have caved into the wills of the flesh.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
Dude, he kept veering away from it. Like when there's a moment in which like they're telling him like, oh, he could have visited his wife and kids, and then he's like, yeah, and then he sees Emily get like kind of sad about it, and he's like,
Because he said
I'm sorry.
if he knew it was going to be such a waste of time showing up, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Then he looked at Emily. He's like, "That's not what I mean." I was like,
Yeah.
God.
See, he was falling into the trap, which wouldn't have reflected very well on his character. But
No, I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad she went out.
yeah, I mean, I am too as well. But it's just like I still felt for her character, and I just thought it was funny that her, out of everybody, got the most respectful death. Not saying that it's good, but it's definitely not as bad as everybody else's.
All right, so before we get on to Best Boy, I want to bring up Judo again real quick. So at the end, he goes off to Jupiter to do what again?
So I had to research this as well because they don't explain it. So at the end of this series, which is the last time Judo is shown in any Gundam media aside from a couple of Gundam Crossbones manga, he is. I can't believe they did this. This was the worst thing they could have done to Judo. So he's getting on a vessel to go to Jupiter to mine helium.
Was that what he was doing?
Yes, to use as electricity or like for power on Earth.
I thought he went to like some type of academy to be like a better pilot or something.
Nope. Our boy is sitting there in the coal mines.
But Judo?
Yes.
Wait, why did Ru go
Interesting.
with him then?
Ruo also went to go be a coal miner, and apparently they were in a relationship at that point, which also was never fleshed out or developed. And just a little bit of history for you guys. So we all remember our boy Paptimus. So he was piloting the Jupitrus, which is actually just a helium, like one of the helium mining ships that they work on. He just like took it. And Judo is going to go to the Jupitrus too. So,
Oh, God.
so that's what happens then. So he's in a
So
relationship with Ru for no reason. He's mining helium for no reason because he's just like an expert pilot. He just won them the war and took out Neo Zeon. And they just send him off.
Interesting. I accidentally ran into some other stuff, and I don't know. I wonder if he makes any appearances in anything else. Like, did you
Nope.
just like say screw it and like forget potential spoilers and just research it to the bone?
Well, I just looked up. I'm like, so what did he do? And I went and looked it up, and that's what it said. And then I was like, wait a minute, if he does this, what happens to him? And so I just looked up kind of just what series he's in, and this is it. Aside from like a couple manga.
He's in Crossbones manga where he's like 50 as of. Oh my god. The double Zeta
It's still kicking.
It's still kicking, but a fucking Frankenstein of a monstrosity.
I haven't
Where
seen
did he
it,
get
but
it
I
back
heard.
from?
Huh?
I said, how would he even get it back? He's freaking a coal miner. So yeah, I don't know.
Up.
He also goes under a new alias, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes under Gray.
Yeah.
Under what?
Under Gray something or other. I don't remember the last name.
It's like Smoke or something like that, or Stroke, or I don't remember. Yeah, that sounds about right though.
Oh, but that's
Yeah.
We don't care about that.
Yes. Well, the main reason we chugged through Double Zeta, it was to see our boy Camille's ending.
This is a fact.
Which we also don't really get.
Well, we kind of more or less get it.
No, I mean, I feel like it wasn't fleshed out very much. It just
Oh,
feels
and guess
kinda
what?
like,
This is the last time we see Camille as
yeah,
well.
I
Yeah, Camille
figured.
goes back
So-
to civilian life with Fa. At the end, we see them running on a beach. They're happy.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, but we don't know
Are-
if he
is
got his
he- is
mind
he-
back.
Exactly. Is he normal again? Did he get everything back?
Smiling.
Yeah, but he's running
know.
around and looking smiley and happy and silly and goofy like he did at the end of Zeta Gundam. Before he like went into his vegetative state.
God.
So that's why it's unclear
Listen,
if
I
he
looked it
basically
up. It said he's happy now. He's a civilian. Well, let's go with that, okay? I want my boy to be happy.
No, we have
Like,
a
that's-
walking, like end of the world weapon, just a civilian.
like I don't mind that he went into civilian life. What I do mind is that there's nothing to explain what exactly happened to him. It basically just feels like a happier
true.
version of the ending of Zeta.
Yeah, the whole
So
thing never really gets brought up.
yeah. Speaking of which, that episode, I think it was like 40 or 30. I forgot what exact episode it was, but the Camille-centered episode was probably my favorite in the series.
Fairness, it was nice seeing that he was able to walk around. He's
Yeah.
not talking, but he's able to walk around.
Yeah, well, he talks
And
in
then
their minds.
Yeah.
Like, man, maybe that's how he's. No,
He's just-
Camille's fine. He's happy. He's a
He's
good
a beast too, dude. He doesn't have to be anywhere to be like be using the Sharingan and calling the shots and be like move to the left and then he'll miss you and then counter with this and that and he's like God mode in a video game.
Right, he was coaching. Puna.
Yeah, he's coaching them. Yeah, he's like coaching them in grand finals every time.
Yeah, could you just imagine coaching your friend in grand finals when coaching isn't allowed?
Yeah.
They can't tell because you're using psychic new type powers.
Exactly. He defeated Haman and he was coaching them to victory. Like Camille's still the MVP.
I don't. It's just very disappointing that we get these endings for these characters and they never come back.
Cared about.
They never get fleshed out. That's the biggest problem with it. And you just left with a bunch of questions. Nothing's left really clear. The only thing that I like about it is that he's just happy in the end, and that's the most I can say about it. I want him to be happy, but at the same time, I wanted him to eventually go on to another series and kind of show up like Amuro and be like badass and like a mentor. But that's probably a little bit selfish of me. And
I mean, if you
I'm
want
happy that he's happy.
play the Super Robot Wars. Camille shows up in some of them, and he's sometimes the mentor for a lot of the new types or the psychic characters.
Yeah, but it's not canon.
It's not, and also if you mess up on the Zeta storyline, he will go into the vegetative state and stay like that for the remainder of the series of the game.
That's fucking depressing.
Hey, those games are hard, man. Something that I kind of would have liked. I wouldn't want him to return to combat permanently, but I would have liked him to pilot the Zeta and then kind of have like a passing the torch moment with Judo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they're fighting. Camille wants to go fight, but Judo's like, no, you gotta go be with Fa and be happy. You don't have to do this anymore.
Exactly.
And just that.
well, at least if he would have maybe made an Amuro kind of appearance, as Amuro did in Zeta, where he just kind of helped out, but still was opposed to fighting and stuff, that would have been cool. But alas, we did not get that. What we got was OP Psychic Camille, which was, I mean, still fun to see, but you know.
Hey, more Camille is always better.
I want to give props to Fa for being the waifu of the series. And I don't mean like that she's like, that I'm like attracted to her character or anything, but I do have massive respect for her because she's like really the ride or die for Camille. She's like always trying to, like, she's thinking about him, she's trying to protect him, she's just always being there for him, and no matter what state that he's in, she's just always there for him. And
She was a nurse in the Dublin hospital just for him.
yeah,
Like that.
so I got massive
He went
respect for
to
Fa.
work. Start helping him.
hmm
Like, damn, wish I
Like-
could get me one.
Yeah, you better wife that out, dude. But yeah, that's the end, and yeah, it sucks. It's not explained at all.
But
So before we end this episode, I just want to cover a couple things that were interesting that I pointed out and jotted down. So the first one is that Glemmy seems to have cloned Pururu, as we see with Pururu 2, and there's
not seemed like he did.
Oh, he did. Well, and they don't.
Like confirmed.
Oh yeah.
Wanna
So there's a bunch of other cloning chambers in there, more than the amount of Cubiles that came out in the end. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they turn up again. The clones. Also so I think the worst arc in this whole series, aside from the beginning, in this watch through, was the arc with the pervert.
Tiger Bomb Colony.
Huh?
The Tiger Bomb Colony.
Yeah, that was the worst. It was hard to watch just because of the subject matter. This guy was actually like trying to
It was perfect.
he was trying to get with specifically the younger crewmates, which was just I just kind of wanted to turn it off when I
Yeah.
read that. It was just
It was
It's also
cringy.
that we meet like a different version of Judo's crew.
yeah, and the Judo's crew just destroys them.
I'm surprised that he did not make any kind of correlations to him and his crew, like
Yeah,
at all.
I
He
couldn't
didn't.
wait
He
to-
wasn't like, "Hey, we used to be exactly like you." He's just like, "Nope, we're better than you this whole time," and then he dips.
You get
Yeah.
to buy
Well, aside from the Haman bits in that part, I really don't feel like there's any substance to the whole arc. And it was kind of just like goofy again, like the beginning. So I didn't really like it. But we did get blonde Haman. So
I
Yeah,
also got her 10 seconds of her piloting an act guy, which then puts her in maxi boost.
yeah. Holy crap, dude! I can't believe that got in maxi boost and not even Glemmy. That's some crazy stuff.
I like that we all said we don't really like Lemmy too much, but we're all wondering why he's not in maxi boost.
well, the Bawa is cool. So that's why. We also skipped over the fact that the Argama was destroyed or really beat up, and we got the Nail Argama, which is basically
I forgot about that.
just a replica of the Argama.
That's why.
Before we get away from the pervert arc, I just also want to bring up how hilarious it was that that
Of course, you find that hilarious.
there that he was bagging so hard on Judah. He's like, "You're the ugliest woman I've ever seen. Get this thing away from me."
Yeah,
He's
but
like,
he wanted Eno.
Pulled it off though.
yeah, he tricked him. He got him.
So, but with that, I think if you guys don't have anything else to say, I mean,
Well, I mean, we got Amuro. We got a mention of Amuro. Mark, why weren't they? Why weren't Amuro and Char in this series, man?
Well, Amuro disappeared. He
So,
went
I
off
think-
somewhere.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
He ran away, dude. He went to to Gundam Universe Vegas City, and
Yeah,
he
he
went to go get hitched to Beltashika. I'm telling you, dude.
Probably also
He's
got
gonna-
like a new mobile suit or something. Maybe like a high Gundam or something. A new Gundam.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that. I guess we'll find out that mystery in our next part, which is Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, which is a feature-length movie. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Okay, so thankfully we don't have to take a goddamn week to watch an entire half series.
Yeah, so this one's going to be an easy week for us and a fun week because it's the first Gundam movie. So we'll see how that goes. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, as well as follow us on Spotify or wherever you watch your or listen to your podcast. We'll be there. Give us a like, give us a follow. Really helps us out. And we'll be back with Char's Counterattack.
Bye.